Hey everyone! Have you ever noticed that the biggest money is made not when everyone is running somewhere, but when everyone is sitting at home terrified? That's what we're talking about today. I'm going to tell you about Hedera HBAR, the token everyone forgot about. The network that people call dead, yet it's signing contracts with Boeing, IBM, Truist Bank. The price is now at the 0.1, and 99% of people think this is the best time to sell. But let's figure out why this is actually the moment to buy. Over the last month, I've dug up evidence that will change your mind about HBAR. Let's go. Section 1. The history of the sleeping giant. Here's what you need to understand about HBAR. Hedera is not just another shitcoin pumped in someone's basement. It's one of the few networks that has real governance. Meaning the network has a governing council, a board of the world's largest companies. On this board sit Dell Technologies, not some crypto startup, but Dell, a company with $100 billion in revenue. Google, they literally work with Hedera on cloud solutions. IBM, another giant that uses Hedera for system integration. Boeing, a company that builds airplanes and now uses Hedera for parts management and logistics. LG, Hitachi, Deutsche Telekom, we're talking about a completely different level here. These aren't speculators. These are people making trillions. Why did they come here? Because Hedera solves a problem that other networks can't. High throughput, low fees, and fair governance without centralization. When HBAR launched in 2019, people thought, oh, another blockchain. But no, over the last 2 years, quietly and steadily, Hedera has signed contracts with Truist Bank, one of the largest banks in the US, UK Civil Aviation Authority, British Aviation Authority, Bank of Ghana, Ghana's central bank, Lloyds, ABRDN, British financial giants, and almost no one knows about any of these contracts. Because Hedera doesn't hype things on Twitter. Hedera just works. Section 2. Why is the price 0.1? Here's the main question. If Hedera has such partners, such projects, why did the price drop from 0.3 to 0.1? Answer. Because 90% of investors don't even know about these partnerships. Let's do some math. The market cap of HBAR right now is around $5-6 billion. That's less than the market cap of a company that makes aromatherapy candles. I'm serious. Now ask yourself, what will be the market cap of a network that has Dell, Google, IBM, Boeing, and central banks working on it? If Hedera takes even 1% of Ethereum's same market cap, $50 billion, that would be 500 million TRs 50 to 25 billion for the entire network. With a circulating supply of 42.4 billion tokens, that gives a price of 25 billion, 242.4 billion, top 0.59. And that's assuming Hedera takes less than half of Ethereum's market cap. If Hedera becomes the network for ISO 20022, the international standard for payments, we're talking about completely different numbers. Why does the price fall if the fundamentals are growing? This is the classic pattern. Buy when everyone is happy, sell when everyone calls for help. In 2024, all attention was on Bitcoin, meme coins, Solana. While Hedera was signing contracts with banks and airlines, and investors were looking the other way. Then the price fell from 0.3. People started selling. Everyone started saying, HBAR is dead. Forget about it. And exactly at that moment, Canary Capital launched a spot ETF on HBAR, like Bitcoin. Grayscale registered the Hedera Trust ETF. The Hedera Council expanded its partnership program to 45 strategic partners plus 50 plus community partners. This means that in 2026, a wave of professional investors will start, who simply want to get exposure to Hedera not for speculation, but for real investment. Section 3. Numbers and Facts. Let's look at the hard numbers. Currently on Hedera, 42.4 billion HBAR in circulation as of June 2025. A 115.3 million in daily trading volume. 6.4 billion total market capitalization. What 2026 promises. Here are forecasts from serious analysts. Disruption banking. HBAR could trade in the 0.1, 0.2 range. That's plus 50-60% from current levels. This is a conservative forecast. Digital coin price, maximum 0.55, 0.63 in 2026, minimum 0.53. Change Ellie. Average price in 2026 will be the 0.1775, minimum 0.1715, maximum 0.2041. This is a more conservative forecast. Stealth EX, maximum 0.63, plus 155% from current. Analyst Telegon, 0.48, 0.9 by end of 2026. Very optimistic. See the spread? That's because even analysts don't know how to factor this institutional wave that's just beginning. But here's what's important to understand. Even the conservative forecast 0.18, 0.2 is just 50-60% growth. In a bull market, that's normal. And the average historical growth of HBAR in January is 38% over the last 7 years. And that's before the network had these partnerships. The key number, according to historical analysis, RSI Relative Strength Index is currently in oversold territory around 33.8. This means sellers have thrown everything they had. There's nowhere lower to go. When RSI enters oversold territory, it can mean either further decline rare or recovery common. And in our case, everything points to recovery. Fundamentals are growing. Trading volumes are stable. No panic on the chart. Section 4. Why Dell? Why specifically Hedera? Let's understand why such companies even need Hedera. Dell Technologies is not just a computer manufacturer. It's a company that manages trillions of transactions a day through cloud services. Dell works with Amazon, Google, governments. Why would Dell suddenly be interested in a blockchain network like Hedera? Because Dell has a problem. How do we verify that data is honest, that no one has tampered with it, and how do we do this quickly? Other blockchains don't work for this. Ethereum slow, expensive 10-100 per transaction, doesn't scale for corporate volumes. Bitcoin not suitable for this at all, it's just a store of value. Solana fast but unfair governance system constantly goes down. Hedera does millions of transactions per second by claims. Commission less than 0.01 per transaction. Fair governance through council. Stable. Has never gone down. Eco-friendly. Uses proof of stake, not proof of work. That's exactly why Dell said, okay, we're participating in the Governing Council and launching a node. And Boeing thought, oh, Dell went there? Then we can. We need to track parts in real time. Hedera allows this. And Truist Bank thought, oh, Boeing went there? Then this isn't a joke. We can run settlements between branches through Hedera. And Ghana's central bank thought, if American institutions use this, maybe we could use it for the digital African dollar? This isn't speculation. This is network effect in real time. Section 5. Comparison with competitors. Let's be honest and compare HBR with competitors. HBR versus Solana. Solana fast, but reputation damaged by frequent outages. Yeah, we go down, but we recover quickly. This is not a business solution. HBAR has never gone down. Ever. In 6 years of operation, HBAR versus Ethereum, Ethereum, slow, expensive, but has a huge DeFi ecosystem. HBAR, fast, cheap, but DeFi ecosystem growing slower. However, corporate applications are growing fast. HBAR versus Ripple, XRP. XRP also focuses on banks but controlled by one company, Ripple. HB, controlled by a council of 31 companies. This is a fairer model. See, HBAR isn't just copying others, it's a different niche. It's enterprise blockchain, not retail speculative asset, and that niche is just starting to expand now. In 2025, Hedera received approval to launch a series of projects with banks. In 2026, it's expected that the first of these projects will go into production. When that happens, people will remember HBAR and realize, oh, this isn't a joke, this actually works. Section 6. The psychology of buying when you're scared. Now for the most important part, psychology. Why do people buy at the top and sell at the bottom? Because the human brain is wired that way. When the price goes up, everyone around you says, this will moon, you believe, you buy. Then the price drops 50%. Everyone screams, dead project. You panic. You sell at a loss. But look at any successful investor. Warren Buffett. I'm afraid when everyone is sad, and sad when everyone is afraid. Robert Kiyosaki. Big money is made at moments of panic. Crypto investors. Hodl in pain, sell in joy. Right now in the crypto world, everyone is talking about Bitcoin and meme coins. They forgot about HBAR. Nobody knows about Hedera's fundamental developments. The price dropped, everyone thinks, forget this project. This is the perfect time to buy. Because no one expects growth. This means that when growth starts, it will be fast and sharp. Usually, when everyone expects growth, it slows down. News accumulates, you don't see it, but behind the scenes, staking is being developed. Payments on Hedera are being tested. Banks are preparing to launch systems. Once this news comes out, the price reacts sharply. ETF Traffic, Canary Capital, and Grayscale have already launched ETFs. This means if someone just wants to invest in Hedera, not speculate, but invest, they don't need to open an account on a crypto exchange. They can just buy the ETF through their broker. This is a gigantic inflow of capital that's just starting. Section 7. Technical Analysis. Let's look at the chart. Current support, 0.105. Current resistance, 0.115, 0.119. Next resistance, 0.13. Strong resistance, 0.15, 0.16. If HBAR breaks through 0.119, it means buyers are in control. Next could be a move to 0.13, 0.14. If it breaks down below 0.105, it could fall to 0.095, 0.1. But this is unlikely because no bad news. Fundamentals haven't worsened. People just forgot about the project. Historically, HBAR grows on average plus 38% every January. Why? Because at the beginning of the year, people review their portfolios, look for undervalued assets, find HBAR and buy. This isn't a guarantee, but it's a probability. Section 8. Risks, let's be honest. I'm not going to say this is a 100% buy. There are risks. Regulation, if America bans crypto tomorrow, HBAR could fall. But this affects everyone, not just HBAR. Competition, another enterprise network could emerge that's better. But we don't see this now. Technical issues, a bug could be found in the code. But this hasn't happened in 6 years. Change in demand, it could turn out that companies don't need blockchain at all. This is a small risk because companies already use Hedera. But the main point, risk-reward is now in favor of the risk. That is, if you invest 1 0 in HBAR, In the worst case, you could lose 30% drop. In the best case, you could get plus 6,100% over 12 months. That's plus 610 gain at the risk of 300 loss. That's good odds. Section 9. What to do now? If you've decided HBAR interests you, option 1. Conservative. Buy in small portions. 500, then 500 a week later, then 500 another week later. This way you average the price and don't get caught on a peak. Option 2. Moderate. Buy 50% now, price could drop a bit more. Save 50% for a breakout at .0.119. If breakout happens, add more. Option 3. Aggressive only if experienced. All in right now. But this is risky because the price could drop another 20-30% before it skyrockets. My advice, use option 1 or 2 because you won't miss the growth if it happens. You won't lose everything if the price drops further, you'll stay calm. Section 10. Final conclusion. Let's go back to the beginning. Question. Why can you buy HBAR right now? Answer. Price dropped to minimums. Fundamentals grew. The world's largest corporations, Dell, Google, IBM, Boeing, banks already use Hedera. In 2026, a wave of professional investors will start through ETFs. Historically, January is a strong month for HBAR. Analysts forecast 0.18, 0.63 in 2026. Risk-reward favors investors. Question. Why is the price so low if the fundamentals are so good? Answer. Because people don't know. The information hasn't reached the masses yet. This is normal. When the information does reach them, the price will adjust. Question. What's my final advice? Answer. If you believe in the long-term development of blockchain in the digital economy, HBAR is a serious asset to study. You don't necessarily have to throw all your money at it, but holding 2-5% of your portfolio in HBAR in 2026 is reasonable. Because when people remember HBAR, and they will, when first bank payments start working on the network, the price could triple or more. And if the price drops another 30% before that, so what? You're holding, you're not panicking, you know that later it will recover and go higher. That's the difference between a speculator and an investor. A speculator looks for quick profit and is afraid. An investor believes in the project and is calm. Choose for yourself. But if you're in the second category, HBAR in January 2026 is not a bag. It's an opportunity. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like, subscribe, and I'll tell you about the next crypto gem soon.